Badlands. Explain those Badlands. That's a hell of a name.
Mr. Vice President, I'm going off script again, I know, but I just want to personally thank you. We've been through some stuff. We've gone through some of the most complex military operations this country's ever conducted, and your steady hand and your leadership during those was a great source of strength for me. Thank you for your leadership. Thank you for your character. Thank you for your selfless service. Thank you for commitment. Thank you for being a mentor to me, Mr. Vice President.
It's called the swamp. And you know what happened? And you know what I did? A big favor. I caught the swamp. I caught them all. Let's see what happens. Nobody else could have done that but me. I caught all of this corruption that was going on, and nobody else could have done it. Did I get that one right? Every 4 years, we gather on these steps to carry out the orderly and peaceful transfer of power. Today's ceremony, however, has very special meaning, because today we are not merely transferring power from one administration to another, but we are transferring power from Washington, D.C., and giving it back to you, the people. For too long, a small group in our nation's capital has reaped the rewards of government, while the people have borne the cost. Washington flourished, but the people did not share in its wealth. This American carnage stops right here and stops right now. The forgotten men and women of our country will be forgotten no longer. From this day forward, a new vision will govern our land. From this day forward, it's going to be only America first.
This is a president of the United States who is a danger to the Republic.
America first.
He knows he's an illegitimate president.
The oath of office I take today is an oath of allegiance to all Americans.
The great Trump recovery.
America will never be a socialist country. I will fight for you with every breath in my body.
Russia, Russian, pro-Russian, Russian, Russia, Russian, 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 the Russians.
Russia.
And I will never, ever let you down.
A dangerous virus is spreading rapidly in China, and U.S. officials are very worried that it could come here.
This is really the worst attack we've ever had. This is worse than Pearl Harbor. This is worse than the World Trade Center. There's never been an attack like this. The time for empty talk is over. Now arrives the hour of action. What they're doing is using COVID to steal an election. Together, we will make America strong again. You know what it's about? Fraud, fake ballots. We will make America wealthy again. They are trying to steal the election.
Now, under the leadership of President Trump, we are fully realizing President Kennedy's prescient view of Special Operations Forces.
We will make America proud again. And watch, please, those mail-in ballots. We will make America safe again. And in millions and millions of ballots, their vote is under what they thought they needed. They're dumping more ballots in there, okay? And yes, together, we will make America great again. Thank you. God bless you. If we are right about the fraud, Joe Biden can't be president.
Congress, the chair declares the joint session dissolved.
Ghost. What the fuck, dude? Okay,
We're
not even live to Rumble right now, so I don't know what. We're live on Studio though.
Didn't this happen last Wednesday too?
Yeah, let me see if I can figure it out. Let's try. Hold for processing. Devolution Power Hour. We just might not be able to use Studio tonight. Let's see if that works.
Is it a studio problem?
Might be. Can you keep an eye on the Rumble? See if it comes through?
Yeah. Do you know why that wasn't working last Wednesday? Did you figure it out?
Last Wednesday didn't work because I forgot to go live. But we're live right now through Rumble Studio. It says we have people watching.
Hmm.
Is it working? Oh, now we're good.
It says
now we're live there. That's so weird.
All right, we're good.
We're streaming to 2 different Rumble streams. I don't know why that's happening, but whatever. Anyway, welcome to the Devolution Power Hour. Good evening, everybody. I am joined tonight by Burning Bright, and I don't know what Ghost. Are you like Hulk Hogan tonight?
You're muted, Ghost.
And you're muted.
Maybe up your whole thing.
Maybe keep it that way.
Well, the next time, let me tell you something, brother. The next time that jabroni, that candy ass Bezalel Smotrich, whose name sounds like he's a demon from the Bible, wants to come to Washington D.C. and dictate to Donald Trump what's going to happen in the West Bank, 17% tariff on Israel, and we'll make it another 17%. You come back and run that mouth again. Stick it up your ass there, Bezalel Smotrich.
So we start the show off with a non-controversial.
Spin that dreidel up and take it back to Tel Aviv, Bezalel.
Now, is Bezalel the one that you fight in Act 3 or Act 4 of Diablo 2? I don't know.
This is insane.
I think that's Beelzebub.
You know, maybe we just don't.
Happy Liberation Day, boys. Happy Liberation Day.
Yeah. Okay, so full disclosure, I'm in Nashville right now. You can see the guitar. Maybe if you guys are lucky enough, I'll play some of that for you later, but it's really out of tune. I've also been purposely avoiding social media pretty much all day because there's a lot of faggots in this world and they're really mean. And I just didn't want to put up with it today. So I've just been
There's a lot of faggots in this world and they're really mean.
The point being, I'm a little bit out of the loop. So tonight's show, I'm just going to sit here. I'm going to do my best to contribute where I can, when I can. But I put it on Ghost and Burning Bright to run the show. And I'm already not confident based on how Ghost started things. So it's up to you, Burning Bright, to redeem us.
It's a good thing we are picking the worst 24-hour period I have had with Baby Bright. He's perfect. He's just having some 13-week regression, I guess. These mythic things probably has something to do with my parenting, but
100%. We should probably offer like a sincere apology to Mrs. Bright because she had to come home early from work today.
Yeah,
because
I didn't ask her to. She just chose to, but
because you couldn't handle it. It's disappointing.
I'm usually good, man. Everything was perfect last week. I was like, man, he's napping.
This is so easy.
We put him down at night and he's like sleeping. First couple months was not like that. Then the last 2 weeks he was like, yeah, Dad, you do you. Why don't you work? Like, I didn't even think I was gonna work last week during the days I
can watch
had
myself.
Yeah, and he's like, I'm gonna get him. Put me in my swing.
4-month rug pull.
Yeah, put me in my swing. Like, we'll be cool. Everything will be cool. And then today he was like, "Oh, do you think I was sleeping, motherfucker?" And yeah, so that's what's been going on. But you know, powered through, and we got plenty to talk about.
Do we?
We do. I mean.
Too much.
We're going to start with the 4-scoop president, but this tariff thing, like I could spend the whole show talking about how many different directions the tariff thing spins off into, Liberation Day and all that. So
that sounds terrible. Can you like let us talk too? Can we make that promise?
No, I mean you kind of bowed out already.
I kind of did, but I'm here. So how about this? How about we get to our spot? And I don't even know how this is going to work because I was going to do a Rumble Studio ad or two, and something's messed up here.
You did a reverse rug pull because you told us you weren't going to be here, and then the last minute you said you were going to be here. So
exactly.
It was the reverse rug pull.
A reverse coup.
It is my bad. It's my bad. Well, I don't know the plans. I'm just going with the flow right here. Down. It's not my party down here yet. Not till Friday. I'm just following directions from Ty and JC. And originally Ty was going to hang out with me while
he could
Jason
be there right now.
Yeah,
and we would never know.
He's in the background. He's so short you can't see him. No, but they're going to pick up somebody else from the airport, and so it gives you more time to chill. So that's what I'm gonna do. So I'm gonna listen to you guys talk a lot, but we'll get to our sponsors. We'll do that first, and then we'll see what happens. We'll do did you say 4 scoop president, by the way? So
yeah,
I like that.
Yeah, 4 scoops.
4 scoops.
So it's like a banana split, right? Isn't that what they do? Or is that a 3 scoop?
Dude, do you remember in the first term, like the scoops of ice cream was like an obsession with the media. It was amazing.
The 3 scoop president at the time, I think it was the Trump 3 scoop memes, right?
Or was he forced everyone else to have 1 scoop and he got 3 scoops. That was the meme.
Right.
It's funny.
So we're going for 4.
Biden became the ice cream meme later, which is
right.
I don't even remember the ice cream thing you guys are talking about. But anyway, let's do our sponsors real quick. And then yeah, or at least we'll do one of them because I don't think I even loaded both of them in.
Other bad parents in the chat. Good to see. Plenty
Are there, though?
My grandson is almost, well, bad grandparents maybe. My grandson's almost 2 and is regressing. I mean, see, this happens. It's nothing to do with me. I've done everything perfectly. It's him that's the problem.
I don't know. It's more than likely parenting and genetics, but too early to tell. We'll see. I'll make my determination when we're in Plymouth. I get to meet him. But okay, we're gonna do a sponsor real quick, and very excited to see these guys back in the fold. It's been a little while. We got Benson Honey Farms. Find the read here. We're gonna start this over.
I still have like 40 pounds of Benson's candy, and I still regularly eat it. So it's not like it's just been sitting there. That's just how much I've accumulated.
I don't even know if I want to tell the story. I've had some bad luck with Benson. It's nothing to do with Benson. It's just myself. So that one time I spilt their barbecue sauce in my office on the carpet, and my office smelled like delicious barbecue sauce for like a month and a half. And then it got a little raunchy. Then it didn't. It smells good. Then I had to clean it up. After about 2 months, I was like, yeah, I should probably clean it up after 2. That was a joke. I cleaned it up right away, but it did smell like barbecue sauce for a while. Then my candies, my kids took them outside because like my kids love their candies too. They're so good. But ants got into them and I had to throw like a major portion of one of those large bags away. And it was
the ants. You just reminded me the ants are going to be starting soon.
Did you ever get that thing out of your wall, by the way?
Was there a dead animal in your wall?
Yeah, that was like a year ago, and he never.
Yeah, I never did anything about it. But I think you know what it is I didn't then seal the house afterwards because the game theory was if there's something dead in the wall, I gotta let the other stuff get in there to clean it out. And I think it worked.
Smart.
So.
I don't think that's game theory.
It's something. Doesn't smell anymore. I've just gone nose blind. Maybe if you come by the house next month, you can see if it smells like dead animals. Mrs. Bright gets so mad. She's like, it was one time.
It's one time's too many, Mrs. Bright.
Yeah.
Okay, now I have the ad read ready, I think. So let's do this. Welcome to Benson Honey Farms, where it's not just honey, it's pure gold. We are a dedicated husband and wife team passionate about bringing you the finest honey sourced right from the heartland of Nebraska. Proud to support our country. We're chasing the American dream on their family farm. Did you know honey isn't just a tasty treat? It's nature's medicine. Perfect for easing allergies, soothing upset stomachs, and serving as a delicious alternative sweetener in all your baking. Their honey is never heated and is delivered to you in its delicious raw state. Benson Honey Farms, we know the importance of quality, which is why we focus on the purity of their honey. But that's not all. They also offer handcrafted soaps, delightful candies, and more to enhance your experience. Join the community of supporters and enjoy a sweet deal. Visit bensonhoneyfarms.com and use promo code DPH for 15% off your purchase. That's Benson Honey Farms. Savor the taste of Nebraska. Support this America First business. Follow them on Facebook at Benson Honey Farms. Again, that's bensonhoneyfarms.com, promo code DPH.
Is that another Benson? Like on top of the pretty new Benson? How recent is that photo of the Bensons?
I was reading the ad, so I didn't see the picture. Well, now I'm curious. Let me see. Can I fast forward these things?
The last.
I don't think so.
No, I don't think so.
We're going to watch this entire ad again because I'm curious. How many Bensons are there?
Babyish looking one that looked like an older aged baby, like an experienced baby. But then there looked like a very tiny little baby. And
is honey like a fertility type thing?
It could be. Benson's honey could be.
I'm gonna go ahead and say yes. I'm gonna say it is absolutely a fertility drug.
Slather some on there, and the
fertility treatment. Yep. It just depends on the application how you apply it, but yes, fertility.
I see what you're saying. I see. What you're
wow,
saying.
yeah. There's definitely a new baby in that picture.
But when was this picture taken?
That's a very tiny new baby. So, all right. Well, congrats if that's another one.
I feel like that can't be another one.
Further complicating the line of succession. But what are you gonna do?
Ash says this is not medical advice, but I'm gonna overrule that and say this is medical advice.
Yep. If you're trying to get pregnant, take Benson Honey Farms. Guaranteed success based on the number of Bensons in the family.
Exactly.
So, yeah.
All right.
Ash, stay out of this.
Let's get serious now. This is a very serious program.
Yeah. Seriously, like everyone, like church it up a little bit.
Okay. Let me share this video if this works. I'm on a Mac right now, and it's a little tough to get used to. Okay. Can you guys see what I'm sharing?
Yes.
Are you guys picking up what I'm laying down?
I can't hear it, but
I'm smoking what you're growing, I think.
Smoking what I'm growing. Okay. Can you hear that?
Yep.
You did? Okay.
You said you were not joking about a third term, about possibly wanting a third term. Does that mean you're not planning to leave office on January 20th?
I'm not looking at that, but I'll tell you, I have had more people ask me to have a third term, which is in a way a fourth term, because the other one, the 2020 election was totally rigged. So it's sort of a fourth term in a certain way. I just don't want the credit for the second, because Biden was so bad. He did such a bad job.
That phrasing. Okay, the whole thing. The question: are you going to go for a third term?
Yeah.
He says, "Actually, I'm going for a fourth term because the last one was technically my second term." But what the media thinks, and the way he should have phrased it, if we're talking Normieville or narrative central, that was his second election that he won. The election was stolen, but we're talking terms here, like. That's very notable, and this is the second or third time now that he has used that exact same phrasing when it comes to Biden's term, when he says, "I just don't want the credit right now." And I can even find the other video if you guys want to talk. But this is like a huge devolution proof, in my opinion, because who talks like that?
I mean, the look on Howard Lutnick's face in the background is priceless. Like him sitting there just cracking up laughing. Because he knows how triggering this is for all of Trump's haters and enemies, and also how this really, really rustles the jimmies of the base.
Yeah, on multiple levels, and it rustles. It gets the media all riled up, the people that he's talking to there, and a lot of the times it's just picking up vibes. Right? There's the actual comms that are being delivered, but then there's the vibe check. I love Howard Lutnick too, in that it's kind of like a reverse Blinken. Remember the infamous Blinken, creeping in the shadows behind Biden, and we got like a mirror version of that with Lutnick back there. Lutnick is actually my favorite of Trump's current cabinet picks to listen to interviews on, because as another like New York area guy like Trump, he can't stop himself from letting out way too much in all of his interviews. Like they're, anytime, anyway, that's an aside. But yeah, to your point, John, I think it's a good pickup that he's taught, besides what we've already pointed out that he said in the past, that he's talking in terms of terms. That is something that is hard for the media to frame. So it's almost like they have to only concentrate on the third, him running again, rather than any of that stuff he says in the middle. Because there's not really any way for them to represent it other than what it is.
For sure. I want to play this video because this is the part where he says the same thing. Like, well, if you think about it, we're kind of having my second term right now. I just don't want the credit for it. Same phrasing he just used in the video we just played.
And in my second term, which we're sort of having now, but I don't want the results, right?
So again, back to...
The results are a disaster.
Yeah, back to... I gotta find it. I'm gonna play it one more time because it's almost the exact quote.
Yep.
Right there.
You said you were not joking about a third term, about possibly wanting a third term. Does that mean you're not planning to leave office on January 20th?
I'm not looking at that, but I'll tell you, I have had more people ask me to have a third term, which is in a way it's a fourth term because the other election, the 2020 election was totally rigged. So it's sort of a fourth term in a certain way. I just don't want the credit for the second because Biden was so bad. He did such a bad job.
So again, and what I think is even most interesting about this whole, talking about him running again and having another term in office. So a lot of people are pushing that narrative. Bannon, other people like there's mainstream media articles talking about how like the pathway for Trump to get a third term. When Trump is presented the question, he's talking about, well, I've kind of already had my second term. This is my third term. But what this is doing is we're having these arguments and it's justifying another term for Trump. And in a sense, it's justifying and getting people on board with the devolution term that we just went through. You know what I mean? Like if he's being literal by what he's saying about this being his third term, like that's building consensus. It's the consensus. What do we always say? Consensus
protocol.
No, not protocol.
Oh, consent. It's manufacturing
consensus for a third term, which is technically what it is right now, what he's going through right now, which is interesting. So it's in the sense it could be creating that consensus for having implemented devolution, if that makes sense.
Yep. And Russian state media, by the way, RT, their headline was Trump not joking about third term. That's literally the headline.
Russian state media.
And then they're probably like, this is super based. Yeah, and I think, again, sort of the older clip you played, that was one of our favorites on DPH. Similar demeanor, too, right? It's not just that the rhetoric is similar. It's the playful, joking demeanor, and Lutnick, to Ghost's point, really makes it in this one. He knows where he's going before he goes there. Like, if you kind of watch Lutnick's reaction, he knows exactly what he's going to do. It's like two buddies being like, he's going to hit him. He's going to hit him with the third term, the fourth scoop. Yeah, before he even gets into it, he starts cracking up. But yeah, I like how you put that, the consensus, manufacturing consensus. And it's really interesting that a lot of what we're going to talk about tonight is quote unquote controversy, or maybe if not controversy, sort of mania about all this tariff stuff. And I know we want to get into that in a little while, but I think it's interesting that Trump has this kind of demeanor that's really easy and really confident in the fact that he thinks the American people are going to love his term so much that, to John's point, they're going to definitely have the consensus for another one. It's interesting in light of the current narrative being that the term is not starting well. Like, I'm not saying we believe that, but in the normie sphere, the media is trying a really hard sell right now about how the beginning of Trump 2.0 is a disaster economically.
Can we have some real talk right now, though? Like, what about this term, other than egg prices coming down and gas being down a little bit? Like, I don't think we felt the actual effects of this term yet of what he's done. Like, I don't think we felt a single effect of any of the policies he's implemented. We haven't seen election reform. We're only seeing transparency from Trump. We're not seeing any actual transparency from the administration. I'm not trying to doom guys. I'm just being realistic. We haven't seen the effects from the tariffs. We haven't seen the effects on the economy in general. The border, we're being told, is secure, and we're getting rid of the illegal aliens. So along with what you're saying, Bernie Brett, it's like he's very confident about what this term is going to do and what the effects of this term are going to be, when we haven't actually seen any of it yet.
That's exactly my point. I agree with you.
I said it better.
No, I mean, I agree. That's actually why I think it's notable that his demeanor is so easy. And I think it gives even more confidence. Like, we're people who read into things on a long-term basis and try to look forward. Obviously the tariffs haven't even been implemented yet. They're being implemented now. So we all understand that the effects of these are downstream, along with a lot of the other stuff you mentioned. But it is one thing to just constantly project that kind of stuff and go, oh, it's part of a plan. It's all going to turn out okay. But hey, things look really shaky now. But, I would feel more nervous if Trump's demeanor was one of an embattled president. And I think the media narrative right now is that Trump is an embattled president, but that is not the way Trump is carrying himself. And I think that extends into Trump's orbit. And I keep saying this on the shows recently, but specifically Scott Bessent and Howard Lutnick are like the two guys right now that are always with Trump, and they're being deployed on all their podcasts and everything. And they're not just not worried about the economy. They're going straight into the storm and saying like, yup, it's going to get crazy and you're going to love it on the other side of this. So he knows that shit's going to get crazy for a little while. And I think this is him telling you like, yep, I am supremely confident it's going to work out.
And you know what? Okay, so we're going to get to the economy stuff when we talk more about tariffs. And I think that'll be a really interesting discussion. But if you really think, and this is just coming to me now, this is how I operate sometimes, like something comes to me and I don't know if I can even say it properly. So I might need your guys' help to dissect this. But if you think of now what we're experiencing from the Trump administration to what we experienced with the Biden administration, all we've really seen is a flip of the script between the mainstream media and like the conservative movement in terms of the narrative. So the Biden administration, the mainstream media was all, everything's great. The Biden administration's awesome. It's all kosher. We're good, whatever. And then the Trump and conservative movement and everything else, Twitter was like, this is the worst thing you've ever experienced. Like everything's the worst. Everybody's going to die. Our pets' heads are falling off. And then now it's like completely flipped where the mainstream media is like, the Trump administration, everything sucks. This is the worst ever. Egg prices haven't come down yet. But then then the conservative Inc. and Twitter and conservative media is all like, this is the best ever. But really nothing's changed yet. And it's kind of notable. It shows the impact that just the narrative control of the InfoWar terms has. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Did that make sense?
Yeah. Well, think about it like this. I mean, we're at what? Somewhere between $2 and $3 trillion of investment, depending on what figures you're using. And this is all This is all pre-flop though, John. Like we're sitting at the poker table. The cards haven't even been dealt yet. And we have $2 to $3 trillion already in the pot that of foreign investment. And nothing's even happened yet in terms of like Trump's economy. Everyone is just betting on the fact that they saw what Trump did in the first term, and they think that when those cards flip over, I mean, we're holding pocket aces, and they think that we're about to have, four of a kind. So I think that's what
metaphor.
I mean, imagine once this thing starts to take off, how much more money is going to pour in when people start to see the results.
Yeah,
that's really well put, Ghost. And I had written an article that came out last week called Reality Wars, and it was all about this financial stuff. And one of the things I'd said in there was, you know how often on this show we talk about such and such is a threat to global democracy. And one of the things I say a lot is when they tell you that, they're not lying. They're saying Trump is a threat to their global democracy. Well, now let's look at the economy and a lot of the stuff that you're saying, John. That it hasn't been done yet, but to Ghost's point, the media, ironically, I think part of the reason Lutnick and Trump and Bessent are so confident is not just because they know it's going to work, for the benefit of the American people. I think they are leaning into the media controversy because, to extend Ghost's poker metaphor, they want the media to go all in against Trump's economic agenda because they know it's going to work, right? So like if you're at the table and to Ghost's point, you've got the pocket aces, you don't want them to know you've got pocket aces. You want them to think you're bluffing, and you want them to call your bluff and go all in to the table. And put another way, to Ghost's point, you've got the companies that are front running these moves, Apple, Hyundai, et cetera, TSMC, they're going to act as the counter signal. And the ones that are going to be left behind are the ones that are waiting too long. So they're telling the media to commit fully. And then by extension, this spins out so far, they want these other countries and corporations to commit to tariffs being bad. And this isn't going to work. And this is going to be bad for the economy. And again, Bessent is telling you, we are willing for the stock market to get really, really bad. And one of the points I made in that article was, when they say such and such is a threat to their economy, whose economy are they talking about? Are they talking about the real economy that we experience on a day-to-day basis? Or are they talking about numbers in a Dow Jones or S&P 500 index? And I think they know that those are two separate things right now.
Well, they 100% are. And we talked about this a few weeks ago, but when the stock markets go bad, people take their money out of the stock markets and they usually go buy like treasuries or bonds. And what that does is that's going to lower our interest rates because it's going to lower the Fed's rate. And so that's a good thing. So and this is what we said a couple of weeks ago too, the same discussion. We should almost find that clip because that was a really good discussion about the economic stuff.
Yeah, we can find it.
Yeah, I mean, we can find it later, post it later. But the recession we're going into, the media is like creating all this fear porn over. I think they're right. Like we are going to go into some sort of almost a manufactured definitional recession.
Yes.
But it's not going to have the same effects as a normal recession. It's not going to be the 2008 level recession or any recession we've had in the past because of all the other pieces to this puzzle. There's so many different calculations that go into what a recession is, and Trump is tackling every single one of them. So not only is he going to give us a recession and the media fear porn over it, but we're never going to experience the actual harm of previous recessions, and we're going to come out of it so fast because of the tariffs and everything he's doing. He's going to look like he's got the Midas touch by the time this is all said and done.
Yeah, and I like that point you made too about the definitional recession is a good way to put it, because I kind of said this, and my thoughts have, I think, gotten more clear on how to frame this a little bit better. But the last couple of weeks, I'd mentioned this idea of Trump putting the Federal Reserve in a kind of a pincer, and you kind of just set that up well. I think what he's doing is going back in the history of the last several decades and generations. The financial media, and by extension the American people, have been basically trained to recognize or be told what a recession is, to your point there. They've also been trained to know what the Federal Reserve is supposed to do in the event of a recession. So coming into this administration, what did the Federal Reserve say? We will not bow to Donald Trump's pressure. We are not cutting interest rates, right? And Trump just keeps saying, you are gonna cut interest rates. So let's take away Patriot control. Let's just look at it game theory wise. Why is Trump so confident that the Federal Reserve is gonna cut interest rates? Because there's going to be, to your point, a definitional recession that every financial analyst in the world is blaring from the rooftops. And ironically, all those analysts are the ones whose portfolios are fucked when people on Main Street don't really care unless they're taking all of their 401k out at once, right? People on Main Street just ride out recessions. That's how it works. If Main Street is doing okay because housing prices are going down, eggs are going down, gas is going down, right? Groceries are going down, then...
Eggs are now part of the everyday economic discussion too.
But to wrap that up, I think that it's not just that the economy is going to get better. It's that Trump has the Fed trapped right now, where Main Street economy is going to be getting better in the months ahead because of tariffs and this onshoring of U.S. production and investment, to Ghost's point. But additionally, the Fed is going to have to cut rates, which is also going to then boom the stock market back up in the second half of the year. So he's going to get both.
By the way, Ghost isn't even paying attention. He's on Twitter right now. He's tweeting. So
I was just calling Rand Paul a nerd because he posted tariffs are taxes, and it's Rand Paul. You are a jabroni, a candy ass nerd, and just idiot. That's
is he wrong though?
No, because look, the only
still an idiot though.
No, the only products that are going to go up in price are products that are made overseas. So if you don't like paying more money for products, buy American. And if you don't like that, get out. There's the door. You can go to Europe. You can go to Canada. You can go to China.
Get out of here, Rand. Get out of here.
See you, Rand, you nerd.
Yeah, well, speaking of that, a lot of people probably don't know this, but whether you want to think it's long-term plans or just, Elon really being the super genius that people say he is, one of the things that I put in that article, isn't it interesting that, how many kind of Budweiser drinking American F-150 drive-in guys know this? Tesla, 100% of vehicles sold in the U.S. that are Tesla vehicles are built in the U.S.
Not their batteries. Their batteries are 100% from China, from CTL or whatever.
Okay, well, the actual vehicle is manufactured in the United States.
Hold on. That is fake news, I'm pretty sure.
Okay, well, the rest of the car is made in the U.S. And then either way, we've got this well, first of all, fact check yourself.
I am right now.
Are they
Also, it's a good question. So is there a tariff on a Tesla then?
No, because the way that these work, there'll be tariffs. I think what Elon said is
assembled in the U.S., huh?
They do have a factory in. So here's the thing: is it made in America, or is it sourced in America? Because there's a difference. If something is sourced in America, it can still be a foreign product that you bring in, like a company brings it in from another country. It's made in China, brought to the United States, and then they find it here, and then they put in their product. Because anytime somebody says sourced in America, that means there is something in there that was not actually made in America. Keep that in mind, everybody. So I don't know if that's true about Tesla or not.
God is in the details. Quote, Donald Trump are the deal.
Well, they've got right here, even what you're looking at, Gigafactory Nevada produces billions of battery cells. From what I understand, and this may be wrong, the Teslas that are sold in each country are made in that country. So Tesla Berlin is sourced and made in Berlin. Tesla, in the US, that's what I believe, or at the very least, it's the highest number of components. It's the highest percentage of components. But the reason I thought that this was interesting, Elon himself was retweeting this, so again, he could be lying, but this wasn't just like a random graphic. This was going viral last week. It's interesting when you look at the quote-unquote American brands here, especially GM. We've got 52% of GM vehicles are made in the US. So I just think that it's interesting from the perspective of the long-term coordination here that may or may not have been in the offing. We've talked about a lot of theories about Tesla and how far back does the relationship go, a lot of DoD funding. And maybe a lot of the DoD funding, for all we know, it was dependent on this kind of stuff. Like maybe you have to source it all here, etc. So the part that I think he might get hurt on that Elon has talked about is, to your point, materials like raw materials and everything. He's not claiming that all those raw materials are coming from the U.S. It's claiming that the car is built in the U.S.
By the way, Ash, I saw you in the chat earlier. If you're still there, can you confirm what I said was right about the sourced in America versus made in America thing? But also, Elon Musk's DoD contracts, how many of those are for Tesla? Because aren't a majority of those for SpaceX or Starlink?
Yeah, most of them are SpaceX and by extension Starlink, which I thought
two separate companies.
Yeah, okay, they are.
Well, maybe I guess I don't know.
I think they are two separate companies. Although X and XAI just merged.
I also wonder if the Boring Company has anything. I haven't you never hear anything about the Boring Company.
Yeah,
but
well, that's always also language coding, I think, and
Yeah.
stupid mimetic silliness. But I think they know what they're doing with that by saying that, you know, it's because a lot of Tesla like super fans who are engineers and marketing analysts and everything that really like the company, they talk about the Boring Company often and say basically, if what Elon says about the future of the Boring Company is true, it will be the biggest value add of like most of the things that Tesla does in terms of US infrastructure. So it's funny that right now nobody talks about it.
Yeah, because I mean, if you think about pairing those two companies together, you can build an underground road from one city to the next, and you can have your Tesla car drive it at extreme speeds to get there, and you're just there, like straight line from. There was even talk not long ago about a tunnel from New York to London, and they're like, oh, it'll take like 20 years and $50 trillion, and Elon Musk's like, I could dig that thing with the Boring Company for $20 billion and get it done in a year, or something crazy like that. It's insane, man.
Yeah, and one wonders as well, as I think we've touched on the show before, if you want to get conspiratorial, are all these tunnels being freshly dug, or are we, tapping into stuff that was there a long time ago? And then some of the things that have blown my mind looking into this, it's not just about transportation speed. If autonomy and the Boring Company really take off in the future, okay, so Ash says it's made in America, sourced in America just means the middleman is an American company.
Okay, so keep that in mind. If you ever hear anybody ever say sourced in America, that means part of their product was made in another country, probably China.
Okay. But just to finish that point, besides efficient travel, if you have a future 10, 20 years from now where most travel by car is autonomous and a lot of it is being done through subterranean highway systems, you have freed up like 90-something% of urban sprawl in the United States. So Elon has talked about, imagine a US where you no longer have a need for parking lots. What could you do with those parking lots? Like all those parking lots could become parks.
Where would you put the cars then? You're going to put the cars underground?
If you've got an autonomous transportation system where there are robo-taxis, which by the way are coming out in June of this year in Austin.
Hate this idea.
They would be basically stacked. So like the robo-taxis would go to their like carports that would be subterranean, and you'd have cars in towers, and you wouldn't have like grocery stores with hundreds and hundreds of parking spots all over the place. If you think of how much square footage or square mileage is taken up by parking lots in modern nations, like where there's no business, there's no building, there's no green space or anything, it's astounding.
Okay, but where I'm at with that is like, this is going to sound weird. Every time I have to talk about this, I have to preface it with, this is going to sound weird, and I'm not going to send any bombs in the mail. But if you read the Ted Kaczynski manifesto, the Unabomber's manifesto, this is like his worst nightmare of like fully autonomous travel. Like where's the freedom in that? Like the whole idea of creating a vehicle was to like, you can get in it, you can go wherever the hell you want, whenever you want. And then all of a sudden they start doing roads and traffic lights, and all of a sudden you're totally constricted and you can only go where roads go. And if we get to a point where it's underground, fully autonomous travel, you can only go where the fully autonomous travel goes. And that is like my America First principles right there are kind of like red alarm, red alert.
Uncle Ted had some interesting ideas for sure.
I don't really guide my life based on the Unabomber's manifesto, but
I don't either.
Totally. I don't think, I get what you're saying, but I don't think that they're talking about putting everything on rails. Like these robo-taxis can go on roads. I've ridden in one, not a robo-taxi, but an autonomous Tesla. You can just have it take you wherever that you would go right now, using our existing infrastructure. So, I don't think they're trying to put us just in tunnels, and that's how it works.
That's what it sounds like, though.
I'd also say, when we're all going to lose the argument, whether or not we want to, is when all they need to do is roll out a statistic and say 12 times the number of people die via human drivers than via robo drivers, and argument over. Argument's done. I'm not saying like moral argument. I'm just saying you are not going to convince a society that like because we all want to drive the F-150s, like drunk driving accidents basically go away in a world where there's autonomous driving and everything. So I'm trying to be one of those utopian guys. I just think.
You want to know what that sounds like? It's like 5 times less people die by terrorists if we just get to tap everybody's phone and know exactly what everybody's doing at all times.
I know what you're saying. I get it. We gotta be careful about it. I'd also say though that the same system that we think has been programming us for generations is the system that produced all of the anti-futurist propaganda, from iRobot to the Foundation to everything else, telling us that we do not want autonomy and we do not want cybernetics or any of this kind of stuff.
If my lawyer Ash were here, she would say it depends on who's programming the software.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think that's fair.
Is Ash here? Is the lawyer here? She is here.
She's always here, but my lawyer is always somewhere in the ether listening.
Maybe refer to her as our lawyer. But we should probably talk tariffs, though.
Yeah, let's do it.
So if you guys want to...
Do you got some takes on tariffs?
I definitely have some takes on tariffs, my friend. And
hold off on Israel for just 30 seconds. You have some non-Israel tariff takes first?
I'm listening. I'm here.
Well, okay, so like the initial takeaway, I think because Ash and I were covering this live, we were listening, we were on Badland. I'm entering in about 13 minutes. I'm entering my 9th hour of streaming today. By the way, I streamed from 10 a.m. till 5 p.m. nonstop because Ash and I finished Badlands Daily at 11:59 a.m. and then I started Breaking History at 12, and then I finished Breaking History at like 1:45, and then did Badlands Live at 2. So, and then went till 5. So,
you're a little bitch is what you're saying.
No. I'm actually powering through. I'm sitting here with wife and I went out for sushi. Got with Miss Ghost. Got myself a little vodka tonic to go. So, I'm Gucci right now, man. But but Ash and I were watching like the Tariff thing live, and at first, we were like, what the hell? Why aren't these 100% reciprocal? Because Trump said we're going to do 50% reciprocal, and he had this like chart that he pulled out, and he was chart, of course. And it's like, dude, why doesn't somebody come up and hold the damn chart for him? Why does he have to hold the chart himself?
But he's going to sleep with that chart.
He might sleep. I don't know, because that chart doesn't talk about him leaving office in March of 2020. So
April, yeah.
I don't know if he's going to sleep with that one. But we were at first we were a little salty because it's like, wait a minute, why are we doing 50% tariffs? Why aren't we doing 100%? I thought it was supposed to be 100% reciprocal. Ash coined the term equitable tariffs. But Trump said the reason we're not doing 100% is because it would destroy all these foreign economies. Boo hoo, wah wah. It's like, all right, well, I guess.
Did he actually say that?
Yeah, he said that it would destroy their economies if we did that, which it seems like
it's an alpha Chad move.
I mean, it's kind of an alpha Chad move because it's kind of like, all right, well, y'all are still completely dependent on us. Like, know who's the best. I still think that given the tariffs that he's put in place, it's still the real key takeaway is that nobody thought this was actually going to happen. If you go read the Financial Times of London, if you go read the Wall Street Journal, if you go read all of the papers of record of the central bankers, they were all saying that Trump was going to delay. He was going to kick it down the road. This was all blustering. This was all posturing. There's no way he's actually going to go through with this. He did go through with it. And the other thing he did that really didn't get any attention at all was that he did a 10% base tariff for all countries, no matter what. So if you had 0% tariff against the United States, you still got a 10% tariff against you.
I like that. But okay, so people probably don't feel this way or think this about me, but I am actually an empathetic person. I try to put on a brave face and not come off that way, but I am. And as an empathetic person, my America First principles are like, why do we care what the effect is going to be on other countries? If it's going to be best for the United States, 100% tariff, reciprocal tariff, that is what we should do. Like it doesn't matter if they have a tariff on us, we should have the same exact percentage tariff on them, regardless of whether or not it hurts their economy. It's not about them; it's about us. So my America First principles here are like, I don't agree with this.
I have been accused of being like a bleeding heart for the rest of the world. Like I've been accused of that, and I 100% agree with you. Like that's not our problem. If the other economies, the foreign economies, collapse because they had bad policy in place, that is not our problem to solve for them.
Not our problem.
Figure it out, guys. Figure it out.
I'll go in a bit of a different direction. I agree with that on principle.
We don't need his opinion anyway. He doesn't agree with us. It's fine. Get out of here, Brandon. Okay, just kidding. We'll take the
power to add myself back to the stream. I just allowed you to have the
biggest mistake.
Resurrect.
You're right, but think of this from when I just said this is an alpha Chad move. The ultimate alpha Chad move is Trump just gets up there. Like there's so many layers to the picture of him holding that chart up, right? So first of all, Ghost, you're absolutely right. They didn't think he was going to do it. Ironically, in recent weeks, the media has been talking like a nonce and talking about how this is all about the art of the deal and that he's not going to do it, right? They used to think we were crazy for talking about game theory and the art of the deal. So then they started talking about it. So they were wrong. But think of this other thing. When you look at that chart, the key column there, in my opinion, the key deployment is not the right column, it's the left column. What Trump is deploying there is he's telling them, so the left was the tariffs, existing tariffs on the United States. The right column was reciprocal tariffs, right? And the reciprocal tariffs, I think in most cases, were 50% or so of the existing tariffs. So if there was 90%, Trump hit him with 45, etc. The narrative deployment there, I think, is masterful because he's demonstrating to everyone he knew this would become a super mimetic event. That's why he held the charts up like a goofball, because that's the meme. And what's he doing there? He's disclosing to the world, not just to the American people, that the US is responsible for all of these global economies. So you guys are absolutely right in terms of that we should be in a position where it's 100% reciprocal tariffs. The reason I think Trump is not doing that goes back to a lot of our discussions about Canada and his deployments about the 51st state. Donald Trump's goal is not to defeat the rest of the world. His goal is to help the people in the rest of the world recognize what's going on with their governments the same way he did that in the United States, right? Like all these other countries would have been like, hey, how about fuck the US because you guys have been bombing the Middle East for 20 years. So I think he's saying like, we could destroy you overnight. And to both of your points, it'll be interesting to see if in the months ahead, we get a couple of countries that try to play hardball with him. And I bet you he'll make an example out of those countries by doing exactly what you're talking about.
This is what we talked about for like months now, where Trump's whole point of like, I want Greenland, I want Canada, whatever, is to get them to want their own sovereignty, right? Mm-hmm. Same thing here, like the argument you're making. But the best way to get these countries to actually like want the sovereignty from the government is to be like, you had a month to prepare for these freaking tariffs that Trump's been warning you about. Now he's implemented them. Why weren't you prepared for this? And then they actually feel the pain. If Trump softens the blow for these people, how are they going to demand change? They're not even going to feel it.
They're going to feel 40% tariffs.
I definitely think they're going to feel it.
I think this is a boiling the frog scenario where Trump, take him at his word, just for the sake of argument, take Trump at his word.
That's my point. Let me finish. Can I make my point here? Because I understand what you're saying, but as an America First principled person, which Trump has said he was, and if you go back to that 2019 UN speech, he says, we're going to put our country first, you guys put your country first. What you're arguing for, like it's the order of operations. Do you put America first or other countries' sovereignty first or tariff income or like whatever the order is? I think we always have to start at the America First point. Like you might be right on what Trump is doing, what he's actually doing, but I disagree with that approach. That's where I'm coming from. Like you're probably right in what he's doing. I just disagree with it.
Yeah, I get what you're saying. Here's a potential counter. I don't know if this is true, but hey, the United States is a globalist country and has been for quite a while, right? We are obviously, as you can see in that chart, we are not as far gone as a lot of these other countries in terms of interdependency, but we have been interdependent. In fact, one of my long-running theories has been that part of the COVID stuff was a pincer move between Trump and Xi to start the process of decoupling the United States from China. That's when we had all those shortages, remember? And the Biden administration took all the blame for that, and COVID took all the blame for that. So now take the China thing and apply it across the board here. And let's say you're both 100% right, and we're not worried about what's happening with these other countries. Well, it's also worth considering that our production, our supply chains in the US are not at the level that they're going to be at the end of this term. And Trump knows that if he goes all the way, we're going to win that game of chicken. Like we are going to win that game of chicken, but you get worldwide economic devastation, right? You don't get Hyundai coming into the United States if Korea is absolutely devastated from our tariffs, because then Hyundai goes bankrupt. Well, that means that Hyundai is not investing $500 billion in the United States. And
where's Hyundai's home country?
Korea.
Fuck him.
South Korea. So I just mean he might be calculating here and saying, if these other countries actually went through with their full tariffs, we would win that war, I think. But I think Trump wants to mitigate the pain for the American people, to your points. And that might be why he's rolling it out this way, of saying, like, if we go 100%, then there's not even anything to negotiate here if it causes catastrophic economic strife right out of the gate.
I do like the idea that it does leave like chips on the table to negotiate with. I like that. I don't like the fact that he was promising 100% reciprocal and we didn't get that. And I see Ash in the chat saying she's still salty about that. Kind of agree with her on that, but I understand the art of the deal. And I mean, I also think it kind of speaks to there are these oligarchs, man, that are still around. These oligarchs are around. They do have their thumb on the scale. They are like influencing things. I mean, there is a negotiation happening here. It's not like there's just unilateral power to just wave the magic wand and make things happen. So I think there is a little bit of negotiation happening. I mean, you have Trump talking to partners around the world who are putting trillions of dollars into our economy. I mean, that's certainly a factor. I still think there are specific, at this point, I'm more interested in some of the specific tariffs, like the fact that there were 0 for Russia.
Yeah, and that's huge.
That is huge. I want to talk about that, but I have a question here for you guys. So a thought, and it stems from ND Patriot 83. He said in the chat, or she, clearly from North Dakota. So this is a great comment. North Dakota people always have great comments. He's forcing them to retaliate by zeroing out their tariffs on us. It will force free and fair worldwide trade. This sparked my thought. So we're not doing 100% tariffs on these people. We're doing 50% discounted tariffs on some because the thought process is it would devastate and ruin other countries. What happens if every country just went to 0 tariffs? Would all these countries fall apart because they're not getting any tariff income? Like
including
you know what I'm saying? What was that?
You mean including the U.S.? Like if everybody just did away with tariffs entirely?
Like let's just say everybody did away with tariffs completely, because it technically would be the same effect as matching tariffs. If there's no tariffs, does that mean these countries would go bankrupt too?
Well, they might. Go ahead, Joes.
Well, it's kind of like that John Lennon song, Imagine. Like imagine the world without governments, right? Because you're basically talking about governments not being funded.
Yay.
Well, it's interesting to consider because it could be that that's what Trump, if we're talking game theory, what is the end game? And you might be describing the end game, John. So Trump is leading with McKinley, and the U.S. used to be funded by we could be funded by the External Revenue Service. But to your point, if you actually have, like the devil's advocate counterpoint to Trump that's usually coming from neocons and retards, or Rand Paul in this case, is these are taxes, right? So they're like, oh, Trump's supposed to be about the free market, but he's leveraging tariffs. He's levying tariffs on other countries. Well, that's not a free market. That's true. So to your point, John, that might be what he's moving toward. It might be that these tariffs are that boil the frog approach, not just to get equal tariffs, but to have everybody come to the table and say, why are we doing this in the first place? Like if Trump just says, hey, we'll drop it if you drop yours. Like we'll drop our guns if you drop your guns. And then we'll actually have a global free market. Yeah. And maybe Russia and the US, like it's interesting tracking the specific countries because they might be setting that template right there.
I might be a little more on board for like discounted tariffs if we haven't been sending all these countries like billions and trillions of dollars in foreign aid these past few years too. I'm just like Ash, I'm a little salty. It's like my my standard operating point, especially the last couple of days. So can you pull up the Russia part? Or he literally didn't do any tariffs on Russia after just last week
here,
threatening.
Well, it gets good here. Let me share my screen.
Is this, okay.
Axios. This is the front page of the Axios website. The number one story. It just says Trump's tariffs list is missing one big country, Russia.
Yeah.
And let's see. Barack Ravid, Trump's preferred journalist, is listing out some of the stuff. It says even remote island territories like Tuvalu, population 1,500 in the South Pacific, in Svalbard, population 2,500 in the Arctic Circle, got tariffs.
Wasn't there just an article like last week? I'm pretty sure me and Chris talked about it Saturday, where Trump is like so mad at Putin, he's thinking about like extra sanctions and stuff.
Oh, that was
but he's leaving him off the tariffs.
There were articles this morning where they were talking about Trump was so mad at Putin that he was thinking about more sanctions on Russia. And the funniest part is in the first in the first sentence of this article, it says it. President Trump unveiled tariffs of at least 10% Wednesday on virtually the entire world, with one notable exception, Russia. Because as Trump explained in like his presentation today, he said everyone, no matter what country you are, no matter what your tariffs against us were, 10%. That was the baseline for everyone. You got 10%. Russia did not get anything.
That's because they're boys. I mean, we all know what's going on here, right? It's getting.
Can you be any more obvious about it? I mean, can you be any more obvious about it? I don't know.
How much did China get? How much did Saudi Arabia get?
Ooh, that's a good one. Let me go check that. China did get it significant. Well, I think China got like 30%, 35%.
Yeah, it was in the 30s.
How much did
and
the
again,
Jews get?
I think that China, that this is continuing the. It's almost like a drug addict that you're trying to wean off of drugs. That's kind of another way to think about these tariffs, in my view. So if you think about it from the perspective of Xi and Trump working together, so why would there still be tariffs on China, and why would there still be tariffs from China going to the US, but not with Russia? Well, there's not a lot of trade. There's not a lot of dependency between the United States and Russia as it is. There's a ton, because Putin has not been running a globalist operation for the last 20 years. And the globalist system has been trying to keep him on the borders even before 2022, right? So the reason Russian GDP per capita has been so low until recent years is because they've not been at the table. They weren't invited to the game of the globalist central banking game.
Let me just open this in I'll open this in a new tab. Okay, so we got Saudi Arabia's at 10%. But so they got the baseline, but it looks like they have a 10% tariff against us. And that's kind of like the standard across the board. Is a lot of people are at 10%.
So it like squared up.
Squared up, yep, squared up. UAE was the same way. Argentina the same way.
What about
the Jews?
Well, Israel.
There he goes.
Israel, interesting enough. This is where it gets really interesting. Israel, interesting enough, was at 33%. And a lot of people were pretty outraged by this, that, we prop up Israel's economy. We give them $4 billion a year. And, they have no natural resources and like no real manufacturing base. And then they still tariff us at 33%, which is, the Freemasonry number. And so yesterday, it was a big deal that they dropped all of their tariffs. They went to 0 tariffs yesterday at the very last minute. Netanyahu put out a big video like announcing it. He said it was because he loves America so much and because America's so great. Yeah, bullshit. And then today, it's also worth noting that a month ago, Bezalel Smotrich, their finance minister, came to America on March 4th and said, "I'm going to tell Trump he better back us when we go to annex the West Bank." And that's the point I was making in the Hulk Hogan rant at the beginning, is that was like a foregone conclusion in Israel, was that like they were going to tell Trump what was what in the West Bank, and that we're going to basically just turn all Palestine into Israel. You're going to back us, kiss the ring. That's how this works. And today, of course, here is the Times of Israel. Trump unveils a sweeping global tariff, including a 17% U.S. tariff on Israel. So Israel got a 17% tariff, which is laugh out loud funny because they now have a 0% tariff on us. Interesting number. Very interesting number.
Incited the erection.
Definitely incited.
Yeah, there's a lot of number fagging that goes on, but we will embrace that number fag. That's some good number fagging. Like, you can't get around that one.
So they lowered the tariffs to 0, and we went to 17%. That's awesome.
We went to, and apparently Smotrich is pissed. That's like the note out of Tel Aviv, is that he was totally blindsided by this. They had no idea this was going to happen. And I mean, that's at least the hubbub. I don't know if that's true or not, but
hubbub. Imagine he removes tariffs from everybody else except Israel.
What about Ukraine?
That's a good question. Let me see.
Not a real. This is only real countries we're talking about.
Yeah, okay. It's not a real country. I don't
the proxy country. What about the CIA? What about the CIA / Ukraine? What are their?
I don't see Ukraine listed on this.
He should have added just like deep state. Yeah. It's like deep state, 100%, 110%. 200% tariffs. Yeah.
But I mean, my advice would be, don't go to the White House and act like you're going to tell Trump what's what. Like, that would be the takeaway. Let me see. Let me try to look it up and see if Ukraine got any tariffs.
Actually, I wonder because I mean that'd be an interesting one to find out because of the economic deal they're trying to get, and like Zelensky being mad that we want our money back. We're going to treat whatever mineral deal we get as a loan, and he's like pissed about it. I'm curious if we did anything.
10% on Ukraine, 20% on the EU. That's hilarious too, by the way, that Russia got zero,
and Ukraine got 2.
You got 23. The EU though, the EU got
that's
20%.
10% for the big guy.
Well, even Ukraine, like the whole story that we've heard for how long is Russia versus Ukraine, and then Trump's like cozying up, like why is he treating the Ukraine and European Union as his enemy? And here he gives those tariff numbers. That's insane, man. That's awesome.
Sovereign
His
alliance.
balls are so big.
Oh yeah. Nice. Clip it. It's got to be clipped. I thought on that note with Russia and everything, this came out before the tariffs, but I thought it was really interesting. Look, God damn it. Let me archive it. Take your time. Okay, here we go.
Ding, 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 ding. Boom. Boom.
That's exactly what I meant. So this was a few days ago. Russia seeks to balance ties with the U.S. and China. What's that, people? That's the Sovereign Alliance. That's the trinity of the Sovereign Alliance. But keep in mind that this front ran the tariffs announcement. And as we're talking about, Russia was not listed in the tariffs announcement. But I really like the way he puts this here. So to Ghost's earlier point, keep in mind as well, this was, I think, 2 days after Trump was reportedly super pissed at Putin. He was even saying that on Fox, like, I'm really pissed off with him right now. And then a couple days later, he was like, oh, no, we're good. Like, we figured it out. So they say Russian Deputy Prime Minister Alexei Overchik made the remarks during an address March 27th. This is Russia and China. As to the relationship between Russia, China, and the United States, we should not develop a relationship with one other country at the expense of another and vice versa. What else did he say? There's a desire on both sides to explore opportunities for expanding those ties because both nations, this is China, are experiencing outside pressures. Naturally, we look for ways on how to cooperate and work together to improve the living standard of our people in these countries. So at some point when things settle down, most of this was about Russia and China, but I thought it was really interesting that he adds in the U.S. He's like, yep, we're trying to normalize relations and do what's best for both countries. Oh, and the U.S. We want to rebalance. That was the term, rebalance the relationship. So right now, we don't have a lot of trade going on with Russia. No need for tariffs. But with China, I think both countries recognize, if they're part of the Sovereign Alliance, Xi and Trump, that they need mutual tariffs right now to incentivize the decoupling of those globalist economies. And then, as you guys mentioned earlier, what do we have going on? What front ran the tariff announcements? Apple coming to the United States. I know it's an American company, investing in the United States, rather. And we've got TSMC. We've got all these companies funding infrastructure in the United States. What is kind of not said in those headlines is, where are they removing the manufacturing from? China. And China wants that as well. So there's sort of a mutual decoupling going on.
Apple's also looking for Trump to protect them because they're under investigation in multiple countries for smuggling coltan, which is a very rare metal, out of the Congo into Rwanda. And basically it's like a black market. And so they're buying like black market that's probably mined by kids, that kind of stuff. And they could be in a lot of trouble. So I think they're looking for Trump to protect them.
You hear these sirens?
Mm-hmm.
Yep, I hear it.
Is Nashville like hood rat or something?
I thought it was my kid.
I mean, parts of Nashville, I'm sure. I mean, Memphis is definitely hood rat. I don't know about Nashville. I have friends from Memphis, but
am I about to get swatted here or something?
Yeah,
could be. I mean, it depends. I don't know. With that guitar on the wall, you might be all right. They might know you're not a hood rat.
Free bird.
Ghost, can I ask a controversial question? I know you don't like controversial questions.
Please go for it.
Are the children better at gathering those resources?
Wait, what? Wait, what? I missed something.
Well, he's just saying
he's talking about
Apple's using kids to mine lithium or some shit.
Yeah.
Oh,
rare earth. Are those kids really good at it?
This is a valid question.
Do we want to throw the baby out with the bathwater?
I think the answer is no.
Do you believe in child slavery? That's the real question.
Not slavery. We'll give them a good, livable,
3 cents a day.
Yeah.
Did you see that the big news now is that Xi is going to be the guest of honor now at the Russian parade in early May? So like Trump was going to meet with Putin in Riyadh in April. They've now kicked that back to probably the middle of May. Probably going to be May 20th. That seems to be an important date. And that's like the sword dance date. So I think they're doing that because they want the Ukraine-Russia thing to get resolved first. So now instead of Trump going to the parade, which was the plan or, the speculation originally, now Xi's going to do it. So I think we're going to get a Xi Putin like bromance, like
that was always going to be the way,
like the Kim Jong-un thing, and then we'll get the Putin Trump romance.
Well, that's really
the Saudis.
Well, that's what's interesting right there. What you said about the Saudis, because like last week, the story was announced where Trump is going to go on his first diplomatic trip to Saudi Arabia, but it's going to be a month and a half from now, roughly, and they want it to take place after Russia and Ukraine agreed a peace. And the timing of that kind of coincides with the Russian parade, wouldn't it? Based on the timing of that story. So what if Saudi Arabia and then to Russia to meet with Putin and Xi? Guys, what if Trump is working with like Putin and Xi to
take down the deep state?
That would be a crazy theory. It's a little too much, I think. A little too much.
I do want to point out.
But it would explain to me, John, why he appointed so many neocons to his administration, all these television characters, because, the bickering that we're now getting between these people is like very reminiscent of like WrestleMania. You got Mike Huckabee and Steve Witkoff going at it now. You have Marco Rubio and Mike Waltz going at it. And I think that like there's this conflict, this tension that's occurring that Trump is kind of encouraging, that I think is very healthy.
Like this kind of tension right now.
What is happening?
Homath
is beating us?
We're beating Homath, but Homath appears to be ahead of us in terms of who Rumble believes the people want.
All right, well,
and this is the kind of bicameral that I think we can get on board with. So I haven't watched Homath in a little while. I don't know like what the content is like these days. I don't know what kind of math equations that they're even doing now.
Is this like algebra or something, or like I'm confused?
We should mansplain it to them.
I don't know what kind of math they're on right now, but I just thought it was interesting.
Everyone's talking about the weather. What's going on with the weather?
Oh, they're saying the sirens, and apparently there's tornadoes coming. It's all good, guys. I'm on the top floor of this building, so I'm totally fine. just effed.
Yeah, and a lot of this, to your point, Ghost, a lot of this like sifting, that Chris often uses the sifting term. I think it's occurring on multiple levels at once. It's difficult to know always who's being sifted, who's the sifter, and who's the siftee. But just sit back and enjoy the process.
I'm gonna go check this out. Well, kind of like everybody's like tornadoes coming your way.
Just gonna look out the window and make sure there's no tornado heading at you right
if
now.
You die
I'm just gonna check. I'll let the chat vote on that. Chat, who should we give Badlands to?
I expected an immediate rebuttal.
That's a good question.
A refutation.
Yeah, well, I mean,
Chat, that was pretty much yes.
It's all fair. I kind of want to give it away to everybody. Like, well, not everybody. I want to give it to about a handful or so.
LOLs.
I'm gonna give it to Ash. I feel like she would be most responsible with it.
Less than 10.
There's
a less than 10. Yeah.
Less than 10. Okay, but I'm gonna go check this out and see if I'm gonna die or not. So I'll be right back.
Imagine being afraid of tornadoes,
bro. Shut it,
man.
Dude, one of the more brutal tariffs was Myanmar, 44%, and Laos, 48%. Man, that's Sri Lanka, 44%. I mean, that's pretty intense. But you know what? I mean, FAFO, man. Don't put a 90% tariff on the U.S. and we won't have to slap you down.
It's going to be really interesting, too, to the points you and John were making earlier about, why not the 100%? Because we did see, it is art of the deal, as you pointed out, but I find it interesting that the media thought that we were going full art of the deal in terms of that there wouldn't be the tariffs, as you said earlier in the show. So think of it this way. isn't it crazy that we're sitting here going, man, he could have really gone harder with these, which is true, while the media and world markets have never seen something like this in modern history, right? Like that in a nutshell is why I said it's an alpha Chad move. There's a lot of layers to it, but on a baseline, Trump is de facto demonstrating, not just to these other governments, but more to their people, that he has the power at any moment to unmake them and does not have to do it through kinetic action. He doesn't have to do it through invasions. He doesn't have to do it through clandestine means. He just has to hit them with what they hit us with.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay, John?
Yeah, there's just like a fire truck and police. I think a pedestrian got like either hit by a car or shot. I don't know which one.
Damn.
But yeah, it's like right outside my window.
Was it Virginia Giffrey?
No. It might have been. We'll have to wait and see if she posts on Instagram.
Damn. Brutal.
Dude, I called that shit. I got so much crap for saying it was bullshit.
Yeah.
I was right. Sometimes that's all that matters.
So wait, but I don't understand. Like didn't she post a picture of herself? Like wasn't there a picture of her like all bruised up?
She meant to post it to a private Facebook group, but there's no explanation about why she's bruised up.
But did she make, was that makeup or like what was that?
I don't know.
Everything is fake. Everything's gay.
To the bottom of it.
Somebody made a comment about Anna Polina Luna. Anna Polina Luna is going to be here to investigate whatever's just happening across the street with the task force.
That's on Badlands OnlyFans. Only place you can find it.
Dang it, that's what we should have called the Tuesday night show.
Only Lands.
Only Lands.
Only Lands.
That we're doing it. We're doing
Only
it.
Lands?
Yeah,
That's
Only
not
Lands.
bad. That's not bad.
It's not bad at all.
I like it. Only Lands. Okay.
I'm in. Okay.
We have to wear bathrobes.
I don't have one, but I'll find some.
I don't have one.
Maybe see if I'll steal one from the Airbnb if they have any.
We need Badlands bathrobes. Do we not have those?
Well, hey, when we launch our we're gonna have an exciting launch here in the near future. We'll have bathrobes for it. So
sweet. Bathrobes for everyone. Everyone's wearing bathrobes the next guard. What about the election stuff?
What about it?
Well, you were just mentioning it before the show about one of the topics to cover.
I'm down. Like I could yell it about Charlie Kirk and Scott Russell for a while.
That's fine. I mean, Ash and I went hard in the paint this morning, so I mean, I can always pick the ball back up and keep playing.
I'm trying to remember. I'm pretty sure I did too, and we did last night. I guess it's up to the chat. Chat, do you guys want us to complain about Charlie Kirk and Scott Russell? Because
it's their favorite.
When you put it like that, yeah.
Because like, I feel like you guys might get a little old to some people. So,
what do we got?
I just feel like it's only Wisconsin, and nobody really.
It's only Wisconsin.
They had a real football. Okay, so I see a yes, a no,
nope,
a no, a pass, a nope. Okay, well, what do you guys want us to complain about?
Toga. I'm with the chat.
Okay, well, I'm down. Let's just end the show then.
You're a real man of the people.
Show. What else do we have? Did we talk about we got this fake judges stuff. We could talk about other fake stuff besides elections. Fake judges. There's a lot of deployments going on there.
What about this one? I actually don't.
Yeah. There you go.
We've talked about the judges thing, like that's going to keep coming. It's like a repetitive story, but allegedly there was a story today that Elon Musk is going to leave Doge, and just on its face, it sounds like fake news. But I don't know if this has been like flushed out or not. So you guys fill me in.
Doesn't he have like he's a special government employee? So doesn't that mean he can only work for 120 days? Isn't that like the official?
They just hire him.
He was tasked with I forget if it was 180. This is what it was. Trump told his inner circle that Musk will leave soon.
Okay,
let's look at the sourcing. Let's look at the sourcing here. Told his inner circle, blah, blah, blah. Where's the sourcing? 3 Trump insiders who were granted anonymity to describe the evolving relationship. Not 2.
Then you know it's real.
3 unnamed insiders. And then I believe, I don't know if we've gotten a refutation from Trump directly on this, but we did get one from Elon who said it was fake news.
So that's it. That's the story.
I mean, pretty much, but whatever happens here with Elon and Trump, I do think it's interesting to even go back a couple of months to where We had pointed this out at the time. Trump and Musk, back to back one afternoon, both boosted each other's tweets or comments saying that the media was going to try to drive a wedge between them, right? And that's one of their most obvious constant deployments. And both Trump and Musk, anytime they've gotten the opportunity to, have clearly signal boosted that they're completely unified and that there's no truth to it and that this is all bullshit. So, I mean, whether or not Elon stays in Doge, I think what could happen here is that sometimes the media catches, let's say they caught wind of something real that Musk was leaving Doge, they're going to try to spin it as some sort of situation like this, even if it's just was always the plan. So there's probably a lot of that going on.
It is interesting that he just did that interview on whatever show he did it on with the entire Doge team, almost like putting them in the spotlight. Because if you're gonna walk away, that's something you would want to do.
Yeah, that's true.
Sorry, I'm working on our graphic for OnlyLams.
Share my screen, BB.
We need an APL on there. That's how you bring the people in. Look at how let's study the competition.
We're gonna study what?
We get to study the competition. This is how it works in the business.
So there's an article from Just the News. Caroline Levitt on Wednesday confirmed Elon Musk will leave his position as a special government employee next month as planned after he completes his work with the Department of Government Efficiency. Yeah, so special employees can only work for the government for 130 days in a 1-year period. This means Musk will need to leave the federal service by May 30th.
So they're gonna front run that and be like, Trump is, for unnamed sources close to the situation, now doubly extra confirm that by May 30th, Trump is totally done with Elon and just wants him out of there.
Well, I mean, if we're being realistic, with what they're probably doing here, and especially with some of the theories you believe in, like devolution and Q or whatever, they already have all the information they need. Like what we're getting right now is the narrative deployment of what's already taken place. So him being there is just the face of the story that we're being told about what's happening, and all this stuff is done anyway.
Yeah, exactly.
So he can leave; it doesn't matter. We're gonna get the same outcome.
Yeah, as Ash has said in the chat, he can just become a consultant, right? I mean, isn't that what most people around the government are anyway?
Right. Yeah, I mean, he'll just say like, "Oh, I'm gonna focus on Tesla," and the timing there might actually work out. Where in Tesla world, they're talking about, as I said earlier in the show, the big autonomy rollout is supposedly June. So a lot of people in that world are freaking out about Elon's attention not being focused on that whole American technology rollout, right? Like it's really the first of its kind in terms of the scale that they're talking about. So again, I believe, as you said, John, that a lot of these things are already locked and loaded. But if you were looking for a narrative excuse for why Elon would not be directly involved in the Doge deployment anymore, it might have to do with the fact that they're rolling out a technology that's never been rolled out before.
Yeah.
That's all probably part of the same operation, I would guess.
Okay, Bernie, I fixed it for you. What's that?
I think that's it. I think that's the winner.
That's definitely the winner.
We will be sued. We will be sued immediately. But
as we haven't been yet.
That's only going to improve our branding, I feel like.
But wait. Could we subvert the lawsuit if we if she gets a little kickback, if we give her a little cut?
Yeah.
maybe
we should definitely discuss our crimes openly.
How about this?
On the show?
If we give her Keith O'Higgins rumble rants, we subvert the lawsuit.
Well, I think if I put a JFK picture on here or something, that might
just put him like a little tiny elf on the shelf JFK, sitting on the.
Let's see if I can.
Don't make us sad.
Wasn't sad. She's investigating it all, so we're good.
Wow, that's gotta, a magical little thing you just did there.
Yeah, I can go in later
put her in the car.
Oh yeah, there we go. She was there the whole time.
Put her in the car.
I gotta move this backward.
Just bleeding viewers. This is supposed to be bringing the viewers in.
It's not working. I mean, we're competing with Fresh and Fit right now, so just doing my best.
The boys probably got lined up at the Baba today.
I don't know how to make this work. I'll work on the details later, but that's the vibe we're going for.
Add Bobert in there. Who makes the team? Who makes the squad? Be honest.
What squad? What do you mean?
Who makes the squad?
I don't know what you're talking about, man.
APL makes the squad.
What squad are we doing? Like, what is the squad?
Well, if we're going off of the JFK hearing yesterday, it would be APL, Anna Bobert, Lauren Bobert, and Nancy Mace. That would be the squad that you'd be referring to, because they're the ones who got up and pontificated.
Still don't watch.
Not exactly what I meant, but let's just move on.
I know what you meant, but I was just trying to be cool.
Embarrassing, Ghost. Bring you on as a guest, you just totally derail the show.
A 6.5 in Congress is like a 10 in regular world.
Are you sure that's the right math?
Is that how it works?
We need to go to home math. We need to watch home math and figure
out. They probably have a specific template for congressional scaling.
Oh my god.
Congressional host scaling.
Oh, it's so bad.
Somebody said yesterday Bobert becomes like an 8.5 in a dark theater. But don't Klobuchar.
Klobuchar. Gene Cottrell is saying Klobuchar. Okay.
Ladies in the chat, if you met your man in a dark theater, I'm just saying.
What are you just saying? I'm gonna make you finish that sentence.
Finish the thought.
I'm saying he might have thought he got catfished.
Oh, this is completely gone off the rails. We are becoming fresh and fit right now.
If you get a second date and you were in a brightly lit area, like, you're cooking with gas there.
There we go.
But, just saying.
Okay, do either of you guys have the rants pulled up? Because I don't.
Never do first dates in dark places.
I have some of the rants.
I got some too. Going back to.
I have Dan Wright 717 coming in hot with a $2 rant.
Is that what he said? That was his rant?
No. I will read his rant if you want me to get started.
Well, let me see. I only go back to PJW for $10. Man.
No, I got a few before that, so I'll start. Dan Wright 717 $2. John, just say there's a lot of faggots in the world again.
That was well put. And they're mean. That's what made it. Starts with like an emphatic, like F these people. Like, they were really mean to me.
Stunny Ray $17. John, I believe that because devolution is true and it will come out that Trump was in fact still commander in chief. This is his third term, and we want him to stay for this 4 years.
What do you think about the devolution theory, John?
I've never heard of it. Can you explain it?
I think it basically says that the Bush administration implemented continuity of government operations back in 2001, and Barack Obama is part of the alliance of the DOJ.
We've got a dummy. We have a legitimate dummy.
There are people who say those things. As wacky as our theories get,
there's no way.
There's people that have gone full and it started with the Bushes and
devolution
Obama.
Can't be real because it was actually implemented beforehand.
They're gonna eventually invert completely and be like, Obama and Bush were trying to save us from Trump, and that's the real. And it'll probably be Charlie Kirk who says it. There, got the zing in.
If it's either him or Scott Presser, that's all I'm asking for.
Wedge Gravy, $5. Economically, we have been in a deep depression for years. When the currency devalues 17% per year, and there's a link attached, and the economy grows 2%, then a net economic loss of 15% year after year.
Yeah, well said. And to that point, Wedge Gravy, as G Money pointed out earlier tonight on Twitter, all of this is happening while kind of quietly to the normie sphere, this transition. Trump is implementing a strategic Bitcoin reserve, and the team that's been put in charge of that is supposed to unveil the framework through which that reserve is funded at zero cost to American taxpayers by July, I believe. So that's going to be really interesting to see. And was it yesterday or the day before we had Eric Trump involved with a big Bitcoin deployment, Bitcoin mining company?
Oh, yeah, American mining.
American
mining.
Bitcoin.
American Bitcoin.
Okay. So, we've got Eric and Don Jr. I think was involved in that too, right?
Yep.
We got the Trump.
They got put on the board of a company and they merged with another company or something, and they're mining stuff now. It's really weird how it worked out.
And they were talking about how it's a great hedge against real estate, and yeah,
and they're the real estate dons, literally, right? Like that's what's so the Trumps are telling you to hedge against real estate with Bitcoin.
Kind of silly.
So
when you put it like that,
pretty interesting.
Babbage 3, $5. Quick and dirty from the first segment.
Ooh. Nice.
Let's see what's dirty. Let's see what's quick and dirty.
Uh-oh. Wait, is this a clip or something?
Oh, hell yeah, dude. I love this. Share my screen. Boom. They threw the old ghost in there.
That's awesome.
That's down and dirty. I'm saving that one.
It is quick and dirty. Hey, we should probably plug your calendar, by the way.
Yeah.
Badlandsmedia.tv/ghost. You can get the full ghost meme calendar, and it's fantastic.
I love how we have a URL specific to him.
Yep.
It's fantastic. Lions 54, $1. John, you aren't empathetic. You're empathic. Is that a word? I'm sure it is, but I don't know what it means.
Okay, what was it? Empathic?
Empathic. Lions can
Trump
use
ain't the only one dropping comms.
Showing an ability to understand and share the feelings of another.
And that's not empathetic?
That's not something John can do.
Oh, okay. So, well, I think there's the same things. But
okay, well, empathetic is more commonly used and emphasizes a warmer, more personal touch, and that's probably definitely not me. While empathic can imply more clinical or formal understanding. That I'd say that's a good definition. Whoever left that rant, I appreciate it.
Sweet. All right.
For any of our new viewers here, this was an actual image of Ghost taken at GART Vegas last month. And, our lovely community, I think, was it Jackie who started this off?
I think I have the actual image right here. Yep. That's the actual image. This poor sweet old lady, like just
that's Max Love and Glory, who's in the chat right now.
Oh,
yeah,
Glory, you are amazing.
Max Love and Glory, yeah. And she was pretending to be asleep, so I wouldn't feel bad about it. But she was actually awake when that picture was
so awesome. She deserves like free tickets for life to GART that Ghost reimburses.
Which, speaking of,
whoops, my bad.
GART Plymouth comes up in 4 weeks.
Oh shit!
4 weeks from today, right?
Oh, hey, pull that up. Pull the site up with the GART tickets if you don't mind, because right now, virtual tickets are on sale for GART Plymouth, and this Sunday we haven't settled on a time that I'm aware of, so it might be settled on. I'm not aware of it, but this Sunday for sure, I'm pretty positive we're going to be doing our first exclusive live stream for ticket holders. So you get your in-person or virtual tickets here, and we haven't released it yet, but in the near future, we are going to be putting our Deadwood tickets on sale only for ticket holders to Plymouth,
including virtual. Anybody with a ticket to Plymouth, right? Including virtual, will get access to the.
I'm not sure if I want to say that yet because
all right.
I can't remember the discussion I had with your wife about it. So
all right, yeah, we don't want to.
I'm just going to say
in trouble.
Tickets.
Don't over promise and under deliver. Just under promise, over deliver.
I was going to say you'll be able to get Deadwood tickets if you have some form of tickets to Plymouth. You're gonna have to guess which one. Good luck.
Yeah. Okay, and I think that brings us to PJW. So I think you have it from there. PJW $10.
Some work now.
Yeah,
that would be vacation.
The one about syphilis.
If these countries are looking for sympathy, it's between shit and syphilis in the dictionary. Hell yeah, love that. Jen Fury, check your X page, John. Canadian, Mexico, and Russia are not on the list. I've been avoiding my X page, guys. Like I said earlier.
Well, there's already tariffs on Canada and Mexico. You missed a couple. I got them here. I got them.
You guys take
Nobody said $5. Good yields to evil. Evil yields to the greater good. Goodwill from America is necessary to create sovereignty among other countries. We'll see. Wedge Gravy, pretty sure what we witnessed today was the Trump card being played. Buckle up, here comes the Great Reset. This is the good reset. We're doing the good reset, not the Great Reset. Angie K, $5. Tornado warning, John, take cover. He's already dead. And he willed me on stream in front of, at the time, like 16,000 people. Badlands. If he, in the event of his death, via tornado, I think. So I just got to make sure we're in the right place at the right time.
Wait, what? I'm confused what you're saying right now.
Don't worry about it. Let's move on to the next rant. Diana D11, why electric vehicles, underground transportation system can't work with emissions. Also, by the way, today is the first time ever Rumble has offered anything Badlands on my Rumble homepage.
Wow.
They have featured us a few times recently, so...
Starting to do it a little more often.
Yeah, if anybody in the chat is new here, we did see a couple of you. Click subscribe.
Make sure you follow us. We are almost to 200,000.
You heard we will be launching only lands. And is APL on board?
Doesn't matter.
TBD.
Does it matter?
We'll see. To fly for a sound guy, there's some bad storms, probably nothing. I'm 2 hours west of you. Wedge Gravy, taxes are antithetical to a free society. Correct. Melindy, excellent takes from Keschel and Brian Cates.
This was awesome.
By the way, Keschel was on The Narrative on Sunday night. If anybody wants to check that out, believe we had a good show there. I'll just show this for shits and giggles. So Captain Seth Keschel said, Brad Chamel's 1,063 votes last night was higher than any Democrat vote total in the history of any Wisconsin Supreme Court race. He lost by 10. Turnout ain't the issue, folks. Dems have mastered ballot harvesting over a lengthy voting period. Can figure out basic math. Anti-mail-in voting. We can get on board with that. Ash, I don't know if we want to read this one. Ash sends a legal note.
How much dollars?
$5.
Okay, we have to read that then.
All right. APL will sue the shit out of you. I might help her if you go with the bathing suit pick.
Oh, now
So
you have to
see what you're. I know where you're going with this, John. Go ahead.
So what pick can we use, Ash?
I was gonna say. So if we lose the bathing suit, I like where your head's at, Ash.
Ash is a pervert.
Like where your head's at, Buckmeister. We do have to check the home math on that. We will be rating home math. We're going to join home math after the show.
Oh, we need to remember to raid Brad's show after this. We always forget,
yes.
But we need to raid where we go when we go all after this.
Brad's show is awesome as well. Yes. Just always hanging out by his virtual fireplace. Buckmeister, $20. Looking forward to meeting John Friday in Nashville. If he survives, we'll see. Team Smooth, DPH devolved tonight. It did. We all blame John. Red-pilled American, is everyone aware that the man changing the world for the better owns the majority of a publicly traded company? By DJT. Wasn't there some news on DJT in the last couple of days?
Donald
Can't
Trump?
remember what it was.
Was there news on Donald Trump? Is that what you just said?
On the stock.
Oh. Wow.
The stonk. The Trump stonk. Angie K, Senate just voted down tariffs, down Canada and Mexico, 51-49.
So wait, they voted for it or against it?
Voted down?
Let me look this up.
I mean, I don't think you can... Yeah. All right. 4 GOP senators vote with Democrats to undo Trump tariffs on Canada.
Okay, so who are the 4 Republicans? Let's see.
All right. Let me pull up.
That...
Oh, is it the boy you called out earlier?
Yeah, I bet you said dork nerd. Rand Paul. You nerd.
Rand Paul, Susan Collins of Maine, Lisa Murkowski, and Mitch McConnell voted for the measure.
Oh,
they
Mitch
voted
McConnell.
to express their
Shocker.
disapproval of Trump's tariffs on Canada.
Rand, those are not people you want to be like in company with, man.
We do got to wrap up though. I have Ty and them.
Is he right there behind
over.
you? Is he with you right now?
He's coming. We'll hear him
scurrying around.
If they get in here before the stream's over, I'm going to put him on camera.
All right. The last one was Ash and said, it's recorded, burning bright. He willed it to me. Nice try. I'll see you in court. Oh, I have boosts I have to get to because we have a bunch of boosts. I'll go through those quickly. We had Lionheart who sent $50 over. What a time to be alive. Keep up the great work. Love you guys. Thank you very much. Rebby17, $217 sent over for this show. Said, Chris Paul is so badass. Starting Wednesday nights with Chris on made the show. Sorry, John and BB. I believe Chris is my new favorite. First, I'll ask my 213 followers if that's a good move, and I'll be able to confirm or deny my new belief.
Based.
Very based. Thank you for the generous rant, and we will not share it with Chris. Suscam 15. $5. Many election stories lately. It looks like we're headed to a fix to elections going forward, but not an exposure of what happened in 2020. Is this a possibility? Is it acceptable? Not to me.
We need to expose it.
Yeah. I want to expose it. Awaken Mass, $25. Thanks for all you do. Don't let the haters get to you. Appreciate you both and all the others in Badlands. Can't wait to meet you all in Plymouth. My first GART. Can't wait. You give so many people hope and sanity. Much love sent your way. Does that help with the faggots, John? The mean faggots, especially. Lionheart sent over $50 again. Hey guys, slow and steady on the reveal. Damn, breaking soon. God bless. Well, Lionheart, you spelled damn with D-A-M-N. What you meant was D-A-M.
I meant both. Can be heard of both ways.
Sure. Thank you very much. And then last one, Micro Toolmaker, as always, $117. Rumble is blocking my rants again. So here you go, and a couple of memberships for this great chat family. Where we go one, we go all. Thank you very much, Micro Toolmaker.
Micro Toolmaker, really appreciate your support, man. As always.
Yeah, for sure. Late rant from Red Pilled American 21. The news was that they released $2.3 billion from his trust to move it to the NYSE Texas Exchange.
Interesting. Financial engineering.
Oh man, I'm at 10 hours now for streaming today on Badlands.
For you,
that is ridiculous. It's time for bed.
Go to bed. Tomorrow I will be doing my Daily Herald show again, so I'm gonna record that in the morning at some point.
Nobody asked.
Well, I know. I just need to say it because
only mean fags are gonna be watching that, man.
Yeah. Oh, why that like resonated with you so much tonight?
Just I don't know. It started off with like a fiery like F these fags coming after us, but they're really mean, so I didn't want to
say mean things, man. I'm just whatever. But
shout out though to the, you know what? I do want to say this because we take a lot of heat. It is what it is. It happens. We stay in the kitchen like Ash when she's making sandwiches. And you're going to get the heat if you're in the kitchen, right? But we know that the vast majority of this audience supports us all the time. And we do understand that the hate gets magnified in our heads because even a small number of a lot of people feels like a lot of people. So for those of you that have been reaching out with kind messages and everything, especially like in the GART Telegram chat, we see you, we appreciate it. A lot of times we don't see it in the moment because we're just kind of getting bombarded with that shit. But I just wanted to say that because we do see it. It does matter when you send those messages. It really means a lot. And the messages don't have to have money attached to them. You know, John in particular has been run through the ringer many different times now, probably not for the last time. And we all take the shrapnel alongside him. So very much appreciate it. And yeah, it does not go unnoticed.
Very well said. And can't say any better, so I'm not going to. I'm going to try. But yeah, you're right. Appreciate it.
For sure.
Ghost, thanks for joining, man.
Yeah, man. Thanks for having me. Lots of fun. Enjoy Nashville. And we should definitely do a GART there.
We definitely should. So, guys, make sure you come. If the meetup is on Friday and Saturday. Friday 7 to 9 and Saturday 2 to 4. If you watch my show tomorrow, and I will have the graphic pulled up because I don't have it ready right now, or go find it on social media. But you should come hang out with us. So, see everybody. Oh, the outro video.
Don't forget to raid Brad.
Yep, I'm gonna go back.
I have an outro video. For you want it's related to you guys were giggling about the Imagine song, so I've got a really good cover.
I was just making fun of John Lennon for being a communist, but yeah.
Is this it?
This is it.
No. Oh my God!
Please, I hate it already. But, okay, whatever.
Imagine
no.
Can't do it. Can't do it. Can't do it. Can't do it.
We're gonna do the Dictator music video instead.
Yeah.
So So we'll see everybody later.
Later.
There comes a time when we heed a certain call, when the world must come together as one.
There are people dying. Oh, it's time to lend a hand to life, the greatest gift of all. We can go on pretending day by day that someone somewhere will soon make a change. We are all a part of God's great big family, and the truth, you know, love is all we need. We are the world, we are the children, we are the ones who make a brighter day, so let's start giving. It is a choice we're making. We're saving our own lives. It's true, you make a better day, just tune in.
Well, send them your heart, so they know that someone cares, and the lives will be stronger and free.
As God has shown us, by turning stone to bread,
and so we all must lend a helping hand.
We are the world, we are the children, we are the ones who make a brighter day, so let's start giving. There is a choice we're making. We're saving our own lives. It's true, we make a better day, just you and me. We're down and out, and there seems no hope at all. But if you just believe, there's no way we can fall.
Well, let's realize, oh, that a change can only come when we
stand together as one.
Yeah.
We are the world, we are the children, we are the ones who make